Give me the high sign and we're good.
Sorry.
Good evening, everybody. On December 20th, 2017 at 7 p.m., I call the regular meeting of the Borough of Hawthorne Council to order. Roll call, please.
Bennett.
Here.
Lane.
Here.
Matthews.
Here.
Neely.
Here.
Sinning.
Here.
Woteki.
Here.
Bertolo.
Here, please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the annual schedule of regular meetings heretofore adopted and posted on the public bulletin board at the municipal building, emailed to the Hawthorne Press, the Herald News, the Record, the Gazette, and all persons who have requested the mailing of such schedule, and a copy of said schedule has remained on file in the office of the Borough Clerk from and since December 8th, 2016. Approval of minutes, there are none tonight. We'll move right into the public comment. I will now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard, please raise your hand to be recognized. Come forward to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. This is on agenda items only. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting. Made by Bennett, seconded by Woteki. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Adoption of ordinances. Ordinance number 219917, the public hearing originally scheduled for tonight has been rescheduled for Wednesday, January 3rd, 2018. Old business, Councilman Lane, we'll start on your end.
John, we had a Public Works meeting last night and Eric answered all my questions.
Okay. Councilman Mealy?
Okay.
Councilman Bennett?
Nothing?
Councilman Matthews?
Nothing, sir.
Councilman Sinning?
Nothing.
Councilman Woteki?
Nothing, sir.
Joe will stay down with you for new business.
Nothing, sir.
All right, Gary?
Nothing.
Okay. Frank?
Nothing?
Bruce?
It's the end of the year, I got nothing.
Dominic?
I'm okay. Nothing in the tank.
John Lane?
No, I have nothing.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, at this time then, I'd like to introduce Mayor Goldberg for the administrative agenda.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing. No, I
You accept the report?
Disappointed people, if that's true.
I was presented last week with a certificate of recognition by the Passaic County Mental Health Association recognizing the Borough of Hawthorne in recognition of our leadership efforts in standing up to the stigma of mental illness. On that same note, the Stigma Free Committee hosted its first program at the library on December 12th. Sean Campbell is our guest speaker. It was a success, and the committee is looking forward to additional programs in 2018. Just a reminder, the 2018 parking passes are on sale. We have another late night on Thursday, January 4th until 7:30 p.m. Parking passes are sold Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And remember, you must leave your 2017 parking permits on through December 31st. So if you buy an 18 and take off the 17, you will get a ticket for not having a 17. So please leave on your 17 stickers for the balance of the year. Our Hawthorne Girl Scout Troop 452 is collecting travel-sized toiletries, small toys, snack-sized chips, etc. during December and January. We have a collection box at Borough Hall. The girls are working toward their Girl Scout Silver Award, and they're making welcome bags for patients of children's specialized hospitals. So if you have a chance, please drop something in the bucket. Also, please remember to give to a food pantry this season. Many go hungry this time of the year. And as a reminder, we have a food pantry here at Borough Hall for donations for those in need. I do want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year as well. At this time, we'll be swearing in our 32nd police officer, Mark LeCourrier. This brings us back to the level of the police department was in 2009. While it took a long time to get back to staffing levels, we believe it's sustainable. And at the second meeting in January, hopefully we will be swearing in 2 new specials, as well as an officer to replace Sergeant Finstra as he enjoys his retirement. And we will also promote one of our police officers to sergeant, replacing Sergeant Finstra's position. So, an appointment by the mayor of the Borough of Hawthorne of a police officer by the virtue and power authority vested in me as mayor of the Borough of Hawthorne, I hereby appoint Mark Dominic LeCourrier as a police officer of the Borough of Hawthorne for a 1-year probationary term effective December 21st, 2017.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Made by Matthews, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wodecki.
Yes.
Sinning.
Yes.
Neely.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Mark, coming up, bring your family. Come on this way, Mark. The television camera's there. We want to make sure everybody sees you. You would have been appointed much earlier, but I couldn't pronounce your last name. Hold the Bible.
He's been practicing all day.
Okay, we're going to ask you to place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I'll let you cheat. I, Mark Dominic LeCourrier.
I, Mark Dominic Porter,
Oh, see, I do it better.
solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of
of
the United States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of
of
the State of New Jersey.
the State of New Jersey,
And I'll bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United
in
States
the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and will perform the duties of
and will perform the duties of
police officer
police officer
of the Police Department
of the Police Department
of the Borough of Hawthorne,
of the Borough of Hawthorne,
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly,
and justly,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
Help me God.
Straight in.
We're very proud.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
So, Joey, if Christian doesn't get pulled to be a Christmas miracle, is that what you're telling me? At this time, I call upon my borough attorney, for Michael Pasquale, for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Mark, well earned. First thing I'm going to report on is same thing I keep reporting on, which is a scheduling order is not yet entered by the appellate division with regard to the submission of briefs on the synthetic turf field issue.
Do they ever have to schedule it?
They do. Unfortunately, they are running at a 1 to 2 year clip on getting these things done.
So end up have to be replaced.
right.
Anyway. Oh, wait, I'll pause for a moment.
We were hoping you would just go through, but
I can just go through. Let's play through. Tax appeals, as I reported at the last meeting, we were able over the last 2 years to settle 95%. All right, well, listen, you guys can at least look in my direction instead of watching out there. Jeez. All right, that's for you folks at home. The people at home are watching at least. 95%.
Ellen wants to leave. Are you kidding me?
All right. Over the last 2 years, we were able to settle 95% of all of our pending tax appeals. We have very few left. On Monday, we formally received an order from the County of Passaic Board of Taxation ordering us to revalue effective as of the beginning of 2020. So we have 2018 and 19 to get the revaluation done. We're already ahead of the curve. We've already started with the official map and getting the tax map down. We had a meeting about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Eric, myself, Lori Foley, and Tim Henderson, our assessor, and we really laid out a timetable for where we expect everything to happen. For the people who are watching, and I'm sure there are a few, we will be keeping you informed all along the way as to the process, but don't expect anything to happen in the very near future because a lot of what happens initially is administrative, again, getting the map done, finding an assessing company, etc. You may have seen last week an ad in the Hawthorne Press thanking all of our donors for the successful 2018 bandshell season. Our wonderful sponsors can't expect, unfortunately, a call from us again this year because we're already in plans for a bigger and better 2018. Other than that, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a happy, healthy New Year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. I now call upon Borough Engineer Steve Boswell for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. On Wednesday, Marini Brothers closed down their project for winter shutdown on Arlington Avenue. Approximately 90% of the concrete work is complete. 3 of the sidewalk areas that are not complete are going to be patched with asphalt for the winter, which should be done by the end of this week. The bandshell bathrooms, the bids for the revised 2 unisex stalls was advertised on Monday the 18th, and bids are due at 11 a.m. on January 10th. The DPW building, a PDF of the final signed and sealed drawings of the structure was received. However, we rejected, as I think I mentioned at the last meeting, they only put 3 walls on instead of 4. I'm not sure I told you that the last time.
No.
Yeah, they had come up with one that was going to attach to the DPW building. It's supposed to be a freestanding adjacent building, not a connected building. So now we're waiting for the new prints to come back in. The only positive right now is the new door has been installed facing the ambulance corps building on the DPW building. And we're checking now because John raised a question about a motor on that door, and I'm going to find out what the plans say on that tomorrow morning. The streetscape project, the only thing left to be done is the borough's electrical inspection, which has been rescheduled for tomorrow, the 21st. Eric has been assisting with that, and once that's done, the DOT will make their final inspection, and perhaps we can wrap up that project at some point while we're all still alive. The Passaic Avenue cross connection, cleaning and video inspection of the Passaic Avenue storm sewer from WAG to the Passaic River outfall is scheduled for next Wednesday, the 27th of December. Rock Road improvements, final invoicing is being prepared. The DOT has completed their surveillance report, and all the work has been accepted. Water storage tank, tonight you'll see a resolution. We talked about it at the last meeting. The insertion valve was frozen, has to be replaced. We strongly recommend you go directly with Carner Brothers. Eric's done the necessary due diligence on their political donation part. If we did not give it directly to Carner Brothers and we gave it instead to Brave Industries, we would just be adding a fee on for Brave Industries because they would hire Carner to do it anyway. They're the ones that do it, so this is the right way to go. The 2017 road program, just some punch list stuff to be done. One of those punch list items will be the Parmalee crosswalk, and all of that should be addressed. We hope by the end of next week everything will be done. So by the next meeting, there should be a crosswalk, Joe, at Parmalee at that intersection.
Thank you.
Tax map updates. Tim Henderson has given us a list of items to check. We're going to address that this week, and he'll finalize everything within 2 weeks. And finally, the municipal pool, the filter pots. This is the schedule now. We're going to get the ad to the borough by next Wednesday, the 27th. The ad will run on Friday, the 29th of December. The bids will be received on the 11th of January, and we will award at the January 17th meeting. We will put in there that the project has to be completed by April 15th, which gives us plenty of time to get to the date we need. But you know how plenty of time is as things move. But there will be penalties if not complete. There should be no issue. We've talked to the contractor. That we know the lead times on all the items, so it should get done. And other than that, Mayor, I'll answer questions.
Thank you, Steve. Before we go to our next report, my friend Eric was kind enough to loan me a tie for my report, and now I'm going to give it back to Eric so he has it for his report, so that we're properly dressed for our report.
Budget cutting in
I'm
Hawthorne's
going
getting
casual. I'm
ridiculous.
sorry.
You know, you're not going to put that tie in?
No, I put
Not
on
now.
tie once a day, and that's enough. So.
Now it's my borough administrator, Tyler's borough administrator, with his report.
A very brief report tonight, even shorter than the mayor's, I think. Leaves, we are now expecting to complete our leaf collection about 2 weeks behind schedule. The fact that leaves fell relatively late this year meant that we had very little to pick up in the earliest weeks, but were overwhelmed later in the season. We are putting in extra crews on Saturdays to try to get it done as close as possible, but unfortunately we are running behind. The Borough Clerk and I held our project kickoff teleconference last week with our new website vendor to initiate the design and implementation process, which should take about 6 months. So by next summer we hope to have our new website up and running. And other than that, I just would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and that concludes my report.
Council President will be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Joe, start on your end.
Yes. Michael, do you find it suspicious with the correspondence we received from the county in regards to assessing, or is this what you anticipated?
No, this is exactly what we had thought it was going to be. If you're wondering about the date in there, the bills go out for the beginning of the year. So we always get, we were on the schedule for either 19 or 18 or 19, and the county actually gave us the extra time, so we've had a lot of time.
Tax bills go out in August.
No. This is though for the revaluation. The values are set as of an assessing year. An assessing year is October 1. So that's why it says October 1. So whenever you have tax appeals, the value is the value as of October 1 of the year. So that's why your order says October 1. So there's no, that's what they all say.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Suspicious minds.
Well, I thought the same thing, Joe.
Yeah.
I crossed my mind.
No.
I said, I opened the email. I went, son of a...
No. Suspicious minds is.
Other than we
just-
knew it was coming.
I think it's an
Yeah,
Elvis
we had
song,
talked
but
about
that's
it.
it. That's all it is. So, yeah, October 1, like I said, is what's called the assessing date, though. When you file your tax appeal every year, you have to establish value as of that date. So it's normal. You're
All right.
good.
Very good. Mohawk Avenue, has there been any word back from PSE&G about the condition in which they left that roadway?
I don't think there's been anything further, no. So, I mean, I know that they just did temporary repairs at that time, so.
You have to agree with me. It's
Yeah,
in-
I drove over it, it's pretty, doesn't.
And now that we're plowing and it can't,
Please, hope we aren't.
no, we've begun the plow season.
Oh,
They're
right.
plowing over that rough patch.
Yeah.
It only makes it for a more interesting roadway. Because when you go down, you're moving. So can we pressure?
Okay.
You know, and it brings me to my next one is PSE&G's been parking in the pool lot. We've been very good neighbors to them. And this is not a good way in which they pay us back.
Okay, we will follow up with them.
And then the last one is the property on Outlook Ave remains to be a eyesore.
We have taken enforcement action, we've addressed things with the owner, and we will continue to follow up.
You know, it's an absentee landlord, and there has to be some.
Yeah, as if going through the enforcement process with notices and even summonses doesn't necessarily mean the property gets cleaned up right away.
I understand. This
Because
is
we don't
going
go
back to, it's either May or June that I sent my first request. This is,
Okay.
I know because I sent it from.
Yeah, well, I think what happened initially is the inspector
Oh,
that started was
right,
gone,
right,
and so then we
right,
had to
right. All right, I
reinitiate
understand,
things, so.
I understand. All right. I have nothing else.
Okay. Gary?
Just while you were talking about public service, do you have any idea when they're ever going to be done with the electrical work? That's been going on for 2-3 years now.
Apparently, from what we understand is they put up the new tall poles and realized they weren't tall enough. So now they're talking about sleeving those poles to go up even higher. So as soon as you think they're done, they're gonna go right back out and do more. It's,
Telling them Sunday, they worked on Sunday, they closed Goffle Road North at the 5 corners, then they closed Lafayette North, and they had the detour sign, so just to be, out of curiosity, followed the detour sign. They took you to Utter Ave, to the end, which puts you on 208 South. So if you wanted to go north on Goffle Road, you had to go to Fairlawn and turn around and come back again, come back to the Winkle and go up in Winkle, and then you had a choice to go either way on 208.
Eric, did our police department know about this? Because I know in the past we've asked that.
They're out there with
They
them.
were out there
They're
with
out there
them.
with them.
Well,
Sending people.
No, it was the sheriff's department.
Sunday was a
It
sheriff's
was sheriff's
department.
department.
Goffle Road was.
No,
Not all sheriff
it was
was
a car,
combination.
one of our cars was parked across the street from the pump house.
Yeah, I saw our car out there.
but you couldn't get near the pump house.
I was working for you, Gary.
Whoever was by the pump house, you couldn't get that far because it was blocked before that, so.
I guess just, and I'm sure Eric will do it, I would
Yeah,
you know,
make it-
discuss it with the chief and before they start work, there's supposed to be, a plan of detour that we lay out, so.
Especially for long-range projects. It's
Yeah.
not an emergency.
Right. Yeah, I had already made that note, so.
That's part of the road opening permit process too,
Yeah.
right? I think they
Well,
have
that
to, well,
one's
it's not a
not-
road open, I'm just saying, they have to,
That wouldn't
they
be a
have to
road.
present you with a detour
Right.
plan that our traffic
Right.
officer, safety officer
Yeah,
approves.
if they're working on poles, that's not gonna be road opening, but we
Right,
still.
but still, you want
Exactly.
safety officer to agree to how the road will be shut down, and how many officers are needed, and so on. Anything else, Gary?
That's why.
Frank?
To add to Gary's PSE&G comments, since you're there,
Okay,
on the other side of town, on Lincoln Ave, where they put the tall poles where they cut through from the Ninth Ave to get to feed the other towns, they still have their double poles there. It's been a year or so at least.
okay,
Any, ask them when they plan on removing them. It's unsightly.
will do.
And we're updating our tax maps to go along with obviously what we're doing. Are we correcting the addresses in lots and blocks?
Yes.
So that,
Yep.
like I'm only 2 numbers
Yes.
off of mine, but certain parts like Llewellyn,
Well, that
you're-
can, that
Oh,
can
look
be,
at me.
that can be worse. if it-
your area is
I'm
bad.
102 Elbron, but my real address is 20 Elbron.
So that's all
Yeah,
gonna be,
almost half of the properties in town
I sent a
are
Christmas
wrong.
card to 102, Joe.
Don't forget that, part of our
We
meeting.
didn't send any.
Part of our meeting, though, that's in essence, and Tim talked about it, it's a separate project from the tax map. And the tax lots and blocks are going to be the tax lots and block. We want to now make, though, an alignment between the two. So your street address is going to be corresponding with your, tax
it came up at the planning
address.
board meeting where
Yes.
obviously they were looking to see when we're redoing this, if we can coordinate.
We
So the answer is yes, we
absolutely
already
are.
are.
We absolutely are.
Perfect. And
So you gotta get a Florence Avenue address now.
Will that correct my problem or us?
Everybody but you, Gary. No, we're not yours.
You've been
Yeah.
here too long.
Put your
so-
trees, put your trees in.
Yeah, so wherever,
The other address.
wherever you have a legal address versus the address on your house address is the one that's going to prevail. Tim's going to go through this in painstaking fashion, line them up one right after another, and we'll get it all straightened out. So
so
we're,
does that show up on the tax map or how do you know, or is it going to be?
it won't be on the map per se, it'll be on the corresponding list. No, there's a list that shows the
So how
tax
does this
map's too
help a
small.
realtor who's listing a house if it's not an updated map where they go look at it?
Well, a lot and block doesn't change. That's not the issue.
No, but I guess the street addresses are always screwing up
Yeah,
their
the issue is
advertisement.
if they're looking for the street address, that will be a different address in the listing for the assessors, so then they find the address for, 114, that's really 108, they will not be at the right block and lot. So this that will have direct correspondence between what's on what people use as their mailing address, which is their real address, and what's on the tax map. It goes, they will line up as opposed to having this other address in the middle that just makes no sense.
Is you have 3 addresses, essentially. The one that's on your house, the one that's 41 Parmalee Avenue. I might be on the records here, 39 Parmalee Avenue. The tax lot and block, though, doesn't change. We're lot whatever, block whatever, that stays. If I walked into that office and looked for 41, I may not find it because it may be in the book as 39. That's the number we're going to get rid of. That 39 is going to go away, so the number on my house will match up with the number on the assessor card.
So then what database does all that go out to that these realtors are using?
It goes initially into Tim's database. He explained to us the program that he uses. It's what all assessors use, and that will be on our books here. Now, I don't know how it gets picked up by realtors. I have no idea.
A realtor's using a person's street address. If you live at number 23, you tell them 23. When they come here, when they look up 23 here, they will find the associated block and lot. Before, if they came in and look at 23, they may not find 23 at all, or they may find it associated with the wrong block and lot. And so we're putting we're eliminating that middle address so that your actual address corresponds with, as it should, with the block and lot. So there's nothing in the middle to confuse anybody.
Okay.
I've always blamed
Yeah.
the guy who did my closing.
It could have been. Could have been him. Lori's saying that the MLS, Lori, ties into the...
Yeah, whether it's the realtor or the buyer of a home, they usually have the printout of the listing and it lists the block and lot. And if they're filling out Oprah requests, I always ask them if they have the block and lot. Because they'll say 25, also known as 29, And I said, do you have a block and lot? It's always the best identifier. Most of the realtors know in Hawthorne that we have, the two numbers. So, for Janice's purposes in the building department and the tax department, we go by block and lot. And if you pull up the tax records, it shows you property location, and then it shows you mailing address, as Michael says, mailing address. So the number on your house where I would mail your Christmas card is the mailing, and then the other one we refer, or Louise refers to it as the property location or the tax map number.
Unless, of course, the owner doesn't live at the property, then the mailing address is something
Yeah.
totally
Right, of
different.
Right, but we're going to eliminate those numbers
Yeah,
that Louise
so-
calls the
Tax
property number, tax map number. You're gonna have one number for your house. You will
Yeah,
be,
you're gonna have one.
that's it.
What a concept.
Okay?
It
Actually,
is.
that's the way my house is listed. It's listed in the tax map as 28, but the real number's 30.
Right,
Right.
and maybe half the town has that problem. It's a big problem.
Eric, I had one more question. Did the planting of shade trees begin in the middle of the month, as we were told?
It's, as of yesterday, it hadn't started yet, but it was to start in the next day or two. So it could have started already, but.
Okay, but they are going through with it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We
That's
have a
all.
window where it should work because it's warming up, so.
Dominic?
Steve, the three-sided building, we can be to pay more for a
Oh,
fourth wall?
No. We bid a four-sided building,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, all right.
Buy three, get one free.
Right. Okay, that's it, John.
John?
Yeah, Eric, from what Frank was talking about, the double wood, while we're in Atlantic City, I spoke to a supervisor from the Board of Public Utilities. I have his card, and he specifically takes care of double woods. I'll get you his name and address.
Wonderful.
So you can look at that. The other item that I have is, last night at our Public Works meeting, I brought up, and we discussed with regard to the Central Avenue and Fifth Avenue road repair, of how the contractor was really not filling it in. I talked to Steve, and he's going to have one of his engineers go out there and at least look at some of the dips right now, so they can at least cover them in for the rest of the winter. But also, as far as how they're going to address repaving the road probably sometime in the spring, whether it be curb to curb, or how it was left with the planning board, with the developers agreement, and so on. So I asked Eric to work on that.
Right, that was the zoning board, not
I
the
think
planning.
Michael handled that, right, Michael?
Yeah, the developers agreement specifically addresses
Well,
the fact, we knew that they were going to be digging up the road, which is fine. They're going to have to top coat, resurface the whole thing. I mean, you're not going to get a complete repave, but you will get
Well,
a...
in some cases on Lafayette Avenue, you might have, on Central Ave, you might have to. 'cause
Central and Fifth are very bad right now. And
That's why I brought it up, because I don't want us to be in a position where they're looking for their CO and the road's still a mess.
you know what the good news is? They will keep looking for their COs.
Well,
Until the road is
It's better to
fixed.
be a little
Oh,
proactive
yeah,
on
we are.
our
No,
end.
they're aware of their obligation, but we ultimately keep the COs in our hands until they fix the road.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
we're not going to let
Well,
that one go.
We're on record with them, and
Yeah.
that's why I talked to
I
Eric.
drive down that Fifth Avenue almost every day, so it's bad.
Anything else?
That's all I have, John.
Okay, nothing else for the administration. I'll entertain a motion to record the administrative agenda.
So moved?
Made by Watecki, seconded by Sinning. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no ordinances for introduction. Resolutions, consent agenda, R-197-17 and R-203-17 through R-210-17. R-197-17, amend ordinance 2199-17. R-203-17, Borough of Hawthorne payroll dated December 8th, 2017. R-204-17, state tax appeal. R-205-17, payment of 2012 general serial bonds. R-206-17, ambulance corps members clothing allowance. R-207-17, interfund transfers. R-208-17, emergency repairs to grinders at Main Station. R-209-17, excuse me, award contract for 2018-2019 arborist. And R-210-17, award contract for valve repair at Goffle Hill Tank. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Made by, sound like Bennett, seconded by Mealy. Any discussion?
Yes, John, I do.
Go ahead, John.
On 197-17, I guess maybe Michael, on the fifth paragraph down, we have the hours of B1 and B2.
thought I got it right this time.
No, I just have a question on it.
Oh, okay, good.
You have excluding businesses with liquor license. Is that a liquor license for packaged goods or for a bar?
Either one.
Either one?
Either one, but they're regulated by the terms of their license. So, whenever hours they're allowed to be open to. That's
That
it.
supersedes what the ordinance would be.
Correct. So if you had a bar in one of those zones that's open till 2 o'clock, they can stay open till 2.
Okay, and with regard to an existing business that would be there presently, if they moved out, the ordinance would take care of that also, correct?
If the business moved and a different business moved in.
Correct.
That new business would be subjected
To the ordinance.
subject to the ordinance, yes.
Okay, all right, that's all. Thank
Any
you.
other discussion? Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes on all except 20617, I abstain.
Matthews,
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sinning.
Yes.
Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Ruttolo.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Reports of special council committees. John, we'll start down your end.
Okay, thank you. As I
You're
stated, we
welcome.
had a Public Works meeting last night. Unfortunately, Bruce wasn't able to be there. He got stuck in New York with the trains. But we already started working on the 2018 road program. We're hoping to get that finalized and introduce an ordinance sometime in January. 2017 is just a punch list items are remaining. The dump truck that we purchased should be in any day, and the body should be installed right after that, so we should have it within a short period of time after that. The Public Works building, the generator that has been ordered for the water system, so that should be in probably within a week or so. And the leaves they touched on, and that's about all for Public Works, John.
Okay. Dominic?
I'm okay.
All right. Bruce?
No.
Frank?
Chamber of Commerce, the Company of the Year dinner is coming up Friday, January 5th at 6:30 at Macaluso's. Anyone interested in supporting Avian Electric, Fine Rock Savings, and the Chamber of Commerce in general is encouraged to call Meg at the Chamber's office for tickets. That's all I have.
Okay. Gary?
The ordinance committee's next meeting will be on January 16th. We're still working on the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Joe?
I have no report.
All right. We have no correspondence, but we have bills. Motion to approve the bills and forward to the treasurer for payment. I'll entertain a motion. Made by Mealy, seconded by Sinning. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wojciechowski.
Abstain on the fire department, yes on all others.
Sinning.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes on all except the fire department and the ambulance corps, abstain on both.
Thank you. Bennett.
Yes.
Ruttolo.
Abstain on the Boys and Girls Club of Hawthorne and Downs Tree Service.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Public comment. I will now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard, please raise your hand and be recognized. Come forward to the microphone. State your name and address for the record. Going once?
You guys want to come?
Council President, do you want to report on your street naming?
Yes. Well, let me close the public. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Double.
Made by Lane, seconded by Bennett. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we do close, it's actually a joint venture. You're dedicating the street, but on Tuesday, December 26th at 2 o'clock, the mayor will be dedicating a portion of what was, I guess, once Maitland Avenue, the dead end of Maitland Avenue in front of the Boys and Girls Club of Hawthorne. The street will be dedicated in honor of Kevin Downs and all the things he's done community service-wise in this community, and will be called Downs Way. The service is at 2 o'clock in the gymnasium, and then we'll proceed outside to unveil the new signage.
So do you need to change your address on the new tax map?
We are, actually. That was done by resolution. If you remember a few months ago, and the address for the Boys and Girls Club will become 1 Downs Way.
Good job.
But there's going to be a card saying 3 Downs Way, just.
Yeah.
Gotta be official.
So, All right, with that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Made by Matthew, seconded by Bennett. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next regular meeting of the Municipal Council will be the reorganization meeting on January 3rd, 2018 at 7 p.m. I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. And we will see you soon. We are adjourned.
33 to 18.